on the health benefit side, as I get older, especially gut, you always hear about gut health, and
he describes it usually as like his tummy starts to hurt, like in the middle of the day.
But even at a younger age, I never really thought about why I felt a certain way when I'd eat certain foods. I just wasn't educated enough. Talk to us a little bit about where the dynamics are in gut health and how big that is nowadays.
This is huge, boys. Wow. Okay, cool. So let's step into, I'm going to start this one off. So I'm just going to say like this. Your body is amazing, all right? You have your gut and you have your brain, and technically the gut is recognized as a second brain. I personally call it the first brain because my gut thinks before my brain does sometimes. It's hungry and tells me what to do, and I think you boys can absolutely
right, 100% agree.
When you're hungry, your gut tells you, and then your brain responds. That's why you get hungry. But we have more nerves in our gut than we do in our brain. We have unbelievable ways of responding to certain things by what we eat. We have, our brain is amazing in itself, which sends messages to and from the rest of our body to enact things, but it is definitely reliant upon what we put into our body and ultimately into our gut. So this is what's important. So in your gut, you have all these wonderful little warriors, if you will. I always refer them as offensive or defensive linemen. And they are there to support your gut. All right. What's interesting though is you need a variety of players, because if you had millions of Patrick Mahomes, as good as millions of Patrick Mahomes is, he's still going to get rushed.
He's not going to. He's not going to protect Patrick Mahomes' backside.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. So you need a whole team. And they each have their own special role, right? So if you had the Kansas City Chiefs versus a Patrick Mahomes elite team, Kansas City Chiefs are going to beat Patrick Mahomes every single time.
Right.
What you want to do is provide each athlete with their own respective nutrients to help them grow. Now, each bacteria, we go back to bacteria, are these individual athletes. Now, each one responds better to a particular prebiotic, a dietary fiber. Where do we get dietary fiber from? Plants, right? Amongst other things. So if we support ourselves with a variety of dietary fiber, we will get a more diverse team. Now, the more plants you double down on, the more diverse team, the better skill set you'll get. You even get some bench players. When you guys get too tired, the bench comes in and they're so good as well.
Yeah. Right.
So this is where my thought and philosophy comes to food. All right. You want to make sure that you're getting enough dietary fiber that will be your prebiotic to support your probiotics, which are those good bacteria, to outweigh the bad bacteria, which eventually, once they consume the prebiotic, the dietary fibers, your probiotic will then create something called your postbiotics. All right? Pre plus pro equals post. Sorry if I'm getting too scientific, just jump in here, guys. But essentially that will then, your postbiotics do some stuff effectively they are. And this information, by the way, I'm getting from a very good friend of mine named Dr. B. He's the Gut Health MD on Instagram. He's amazing. He talked about these short-chain fatty acids, these postbiotics, being the gatekeepers, the VIP, the security guards at the hottest nightclub in town, at the blood-brain barrier in your brain, letting the good things in and the bad things stay out, right? So that's amongst one thing. It also helps with immune response, immune support. So the way that you're able to actually look after yourself better is through what you eat and making sure you get that diversity. And ultimately, that's my philosophy when it comes to, it doesn't matter if you eat plants or animals. It's more important that you get a diversity of plants. Right. That is my philosophy.
Okay. No, that makes sense. So
that's So sorry, because this is something. This is personally, dude.
You guys are looking to each other, going, "I think I get it."
My head's spinning with a million questions right now.
So I think as a culture, and I'm just going to speak specifically to the United States, right? We've got a lot of gut issues because we've got dietary habits that have just kind of been ingrained in us, right? Whether it's oh, hey, I'm just going to drink milk all the time, or hey, I'm just going to have a ton of gluten because that's what I had, or I'm only going to eat whatever it is, whatever your historical influence has been on your diet. So to those maybe that have struggled with it, that may be losing some of these enzymes and bacteria in your stomach, like you said, the offense and defensive line, can you can you replace those enzymes with the right diet? So say you're like, okay, look, I figured out where I'm struggling, where I'm maybe, insufficient in this or insufficient in that. Can I recreate and draft or sign some other guys on as a free agent?
Oh, I love this analogy. Yeah. Think of us as we are going to create the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of 2020, right? So like they recruited Tom Brady, they got Gronkowski, they got Brown, and they won the Super Bowl after having a tough start. That's exactly what this is. Yes. The most exciting thing is you can change your gut flora to better yourself, and it all starts with your food. Now, I'm not expecting society to all of a sudden change directly to what I want them to. In fact, I don't want them to, because ultimately, if you change drastically, it's a slower response. Your body, it's like all of a sudden, what happened when like Tom Brady had no preseason and they had to start playing? It was tough. They were like, they were 7-5, was it? And then they ran out the rest of the season. My point is, like, they needed time to get to know each other, need to run some plays, need to get an understanding. And so what we find ourselves doing now is like, let's gradually include some things that are going to start working. This is what I say. I'm not asking people to completely remove things from their diet long term. Like, I love the fact that people can do things long term. The thing is, when it comes to all this, though, there's some things you can have sometimes. Let's cut out refined sugar. All right? And we cut out refined sugar. And when we do that, we can actually, ultimately look after a lot of the diabetic problems we have already. We can reduce inflammation. And that is like, honestly, the simplest thing you can do is just one thing: remove all the added sugar.